Long ago, during the time when judges ruled Israel, there was a famine in the land. A man from Bethlehem in Judah went to live in the country of Moab with his wife and 2 sons. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and his sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah. While they were in Moab, Elimelech died, leaving Naomi with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, leaving Naomi without her 2 sons and her husband. Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem, as she had heard that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them. Naomi prepared to return home with her daughters-in-law. As they were on their way back to Judah, Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Naomi kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud. Both daughters-in-law initially insisted on going with Naomi, but she urged them again to return to their homes. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye and returned to her people and her gods. But Ruth clung to Naomi and said, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go I will go, and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. Where you die I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." Seeing Ruth's determination, Naomi stopped urging her. Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Ruth decided to go into the fields to pick up leftover grain, following behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, a relative of Naomi's late husband, Elimelech. Boaz noticed Ruth and asked about her. When he learned who she was, he spoke to her kindly, saying, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." Ruth was very grateful and asked why Boaz was showing her such kindness, as she was a foreigner. Boaz replied, "I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Ruth continued to glean in Boaz's fields throughout the barley and wheat harvests. Naomi, wanting to find a home for Ruth, where she would be well provided for, came up with a plan. She instructed Ruth to go to the threshing floor where Boaz was winnowing barley. Naomi told Ruth to wait until Boaz had finished eating and drinking, and then to uncover his feet and lie down. She said Boaz would tell Ruth what to do next. Ruth followed Naomi's instructions. When Boaz woke up in the middle of the night and found a woman lying at his feet, he asked who she was. Ruth answered, "I am your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." Boaz praised Ruth for her kindness and assured her that he would do all she asked. He also mentioned that there was another guardian redeemer who was more closely related than he was. Boaz promised to resolve the matter in the morning. Boaz went to the town gate and sat down there. When the other guardian redeemer came along, Boaz took 10 elders of the town and explained the situation. The other guardian redeemer declined to redeem the land and marry Ruth, So Boaz announced to the elders and all the people that he would redeem Naomi's land and marry Ruth. The people and elders blessed Boaz, hoping that Ruth would be like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. Boaz married Ruth and she became his wife. The Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women of the town said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, "Naomi has a son," and they named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. The story of Ruth and Naomi is one of loyalty, kindness, and redemption. Ruth's devotion to Naomi and her faithfulness led to a new beginning for both of them. Ruth, a foreigner, became an ancestor of King David and, ultimately, of Jesus Christ. This story shows how love and faith can bring hope and transformation, even in the hardest of times.